This one here that we're gonna play
This
is like stupid new. Alright? Just stupid new. We're just gonna play it because what the hell, why not, right?
Right.
You guys wanna hear a stupid ass new song, right?
Yeah.
Cool. It's a little different, but it's fun.
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. We could be. We might be. I believe we are. Holy shit, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, here on the I'm No Joe YouTube channel. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like an Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, we have got a panel full of fuckery ready to unleash the shenanigans and shit talking of punchy kicky you come here to see. Unfortunately, we really don't have a whole lot going on in the sports world right now, so it's not going to be a terribly long episode, but we do have some things we do need to talk about and we do need to go over, and we do have a fight card this weekend that we are going to give you some breakdowns for here. So before we get too deep into this, I do want to take a moment and thank these fine folks here for coming along. Unfortunately, this week, the reigning interim champion new guy is actually on vacation. So the purple strap is actually, I believe, roaming about the countryside of Montana right now. So it is not up for grabs, but we do have in his place the potential challenger for the purple strap. Once again, the number one ranked new guy on the show. RJ, how the fuck you doing, brother?
It's okay. The purple strap's gone, but like an actual like romance strap is here, so you don't have to worry about that right now. Doing pretty good, man. Been a pretty good fucking week, and pretty excited. There's not a lot to talk about, but some interesting things.
Yeah, there's a little bit. There's a little bit. I agree. Glad to have you aboard here, sir. And then, as is the case more often than not, across the octagon from myself, as it were, my Wednesday night homeboy, my combat shit-talking compatriot here, the one and only Golf T Vapes. How you doing, TJ?
Another lovely day in paradise. I think from what I heard, Fresh was getting a little R&R there for, it's hard to defend that strap all the time here when you got somebody constantly coming after you, even if it's from the lower ranks. But I mean, if he's got to be the gatekeeper to the strap, he's got to be the gatekeeper. Every once in a while, you need a break. So sometimes that nice fresh country ale does a lot of good for him.
That's right. As they say, when the strap fits, wear it.
That's right.
Oh, glad to have you here, brother. So, like I said,
you're muted as fuck.
Accidentally hit the fucking mute key with the keyboard when I moved my notes here. As I said up at the beginning of the show here, this is going to be a full course meal of an episode here. It was a short news week. No need to give it its own entire show on Wednesday here. So we do have a little bit of news to go over. But as has been told to me by folks much smarter than myself, before we get into the shenanigans and the shit talking, I should let you all know, if this is your cup of tea, you can find us everywhere. We are highly consumable. We are on basically all social media platforms here. Facebook at I'm No Joe, Instagram at I'm No Joe, here on YouTube at I'm No Joe. And if, understandably, these Instagram influencer level faces are just too goddamn distracting for you, fret not, mon ami, we have got you covered there as well. The I'm No Joe podcast is available in all audio format in your podcast consumption platform of choice through anchor.fm/I'm No Joe. And if you love what we do around here as much as we do, you can support the show, patreon.com/I'm No Joe. Gives you access to the behind the scenes shit, the unaired shit, the unairable shit. But that being said, we do have a few things to talk about. For those of you who are unaware, currently, as of right this very moment, Bellator 249 is underway on a Thursday night for some fucking reason. I will say this, the prelims were much better than the main card has been so far. I did catch most of the show up until we started here. I literally had to mute it so I could start this shit. So there have been some impressive finishes. There have been some very lackluster ones as well. So I promise you that is worth waiting and catching on replay. We will have much more fun here. That being said, for those of you who somehow managed to hide under a rock since Saturday night, Joaquin Buckley basically delivered the kick heard round the world. Arguably the most impressive kick knockout the UFC has seen in a very long time. Arguably top 3 KOs in the UFC, top 5 at the worst in all time. Absolutely stunning fucking kick. Managed to land it while he hadn't taken hardly any damage at all in the fight. And as we have seen quite a bit lately, they have actually turned around and gave him that quick turnaround fight. We got the announcement yesterday, Joaquin Buckley will be getting back in the cage on short notice for UFC 255 coming up November 21st, just a little over a month away, stepping in against Jordan Wright. We've seen it time and time again. You put on a good show, you stay good, you don't take a lot of damage. That's apparently the new thing. Apparently the cowboy motto is the way to go in the UFC. And if you're getting out of there with little to no damage, turnaround is the way to go. And we're going to see Joaquin Buckley get back in there real quick. So it could be very interesting to see where he's sitting now that he's got that Kevin Holland fight clearly shaken out of his fucking head.
I'm pretty sure if I watched the interview correctly that he was doing that Dana White bombed in on. Pretty sure he's probably got at least a 4 or 5 fight contract out of that fucking shit.
Fairly confident. Yeah, Dana White literally rushed in while he was being interviewed. It was pretty fucking cool. Like Dana White is 100% on board the fucking Joaquin Buckley show now.
I'm not mad at him for it. When you can pull that kind of highlight shit, look. And it wasn't like it was it was early in the fight. It wasn't like it was a last ditch effort type thing. That must be something he does in the fucking gym.
I was going to say, he actually was on What the Heck with Mike Heck on MMA Fighting's broadcast show. And he talked about it. That's something that they train in the gym on the heavy bags. You start with your foot against the heavy bag and then switch and kick with the other foot while that one stays against the bag. So you're balancing and completely pushing off that one leg, but it's something that they practice in the event that you get a kick caught just like he did Saturday night. And I mean, it fucking paid off beautifully. He got all the bonus that you could possibly fucking get, and I'm sure some extra.
What's fucking great about that? How many other people have you ever seen even think about fucking trying that? How many in the UFC? Can you guys name anybody?
No, not even close.
Not a fucking
generally,
one.
When you get your leg caught, your instinct is to either hop towards the person and clench or hop away and try and yank that leg free.
Yeah.
Nobody thinks to just
knock the guy out.
Yeah, nobody thinks to flip that other leg up and just fucking attack with it.
I'm just saying, anybody now who picks up his leg is going to think twice.
Yeah, I guarantee you whether whether he improves his actual kicking game or not, people will from now on always look out for his kicks. Not necessarily because of what they could land, but because of the way he's shown that he can chain them together in very unconventional methods and still be accurate with them. And that can be a very big problem.
I'm just saying it was a thing of beauty. And to be honest, I hope he does well, because after something like that, if you fucking bomb, don't get me wrong. It's cool to be a one-trick pony here,
right?
In this situation, because this is the highlight we will forever fucking see. It's kind of like we'll forever see the fucking off the fucking cage kick from Anthony Pettis. Yep. That's never going anywhere. This is never going anywhere. When you see best of knockouts and fucking compilations from fucking UFC fans, it's gonna always be there. Promos for the UFC, guaranteed to fucking be there. They're gonna overuse the shit out of it, guaranteed.
Yeah, that's going to be on the UFC highlight reel for every fucking broadcast forever now, right along everything else. And the funny thing is later on in the card, in the main event, Corey Sandhagen actually started the end of that fight sequence with a spinning wheel kick that landed with the calf instead of the heel right on fucking Marlon Moraes' head and just fucking threw Marlon's whole sense of balance right into the fucking washing machine. And was literally the beginning of the end of that fight. But it basically got completely overshadowed by the Joaquin Buckley, as well as poor fucking Dawkins, man. Dawkins had a beautiful fucking stoppage just before Buckley came out there and threw the kick that changed everything for the rest of the evening. And then even said in his post-fight interview, you know, I'm real happy with that performance, but fuck Joaquin Buckley because he just stole 50 G's from me with that kick.
Dude, you know, at that point, he can't even be mad about that because it's fucking impressive.
That was one of those like, well, shit.
Like, I thought I had this in the bag.
Yeah, I had that wrapped up with a nice stoppage, and then this fucking guy, like, damn. But yeah, no, absolutely deserved to Joaquin Buckley. The one thing I will say is the way that he has handled, because I've heard 4 different journalists since Saturday night ask him if he wants that Kevin Holland fight back, if he wants to set that Kevin Holland fight up. And he has handled it very gracefully and very tactfully every time. He has made a point to say, we are both young in our career. Obviously, that was my first loss. We both had that fight on short notice. He was the better man that night, so I absolutely think we will see each other again. But right now, he's coming off a loss and I'm coming off a win. So I'm going to start moving up. And if he makes it up there with me, I'm sure we'll meet again. But for right now, I'm just focused on moving up.
Best fucking way to address that question.
That's such a great fucking answer, man, because that's a very, very clear, absolutely, I want that fight back. But it's also that beautiful backhanded compliment. I want that fight back if he can catch me, because now he's on a fucking loss and I'm on a win going up. I love to see intelligent fucking responses like that, because there's no way the media is going to be able to fucking spin that into Joaquin Buckley talks shit about Kevin Holland or anything. You know, that's a nice, very clear response, but it gets the point across.
Oh, yeah.
So, another interesting announcement that we got yesterday afternoon. Like I said, it was a fairly slow news week this week so far. We do have, as of right now, they're saying prospectively it will be the main event, but there is still talks of things being moved around. UFC 256, December 12th, the one that we were originally hoping we were going to see Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. We are now not going to see them on that particular date. We will, however, be seeing the 135 belt be defended. Aljamain Sterling is officially getting the title shot against Peter Yan. I don't in any fucking stretch of the imagination agree that he deserves it. I think he should have to fucking rematch Sandhagen for that shot right now, but that's why Dana runs the show and I don't. That being said, Dana has said firmly that regardless of who wins, Aljamain Sterling or Peter Yan, the winner of that fight now has to fight Corey Sandhagen after what he did to Marlon Moraes on Saturday night. So if there is a silver lining in this fucked up little merry-go-round we've got going on at 135 right now, it is that we have got confirmation and we've got video recording, which we can use against him later on if we fucking have to, that Dana confirmed Corey gets the next title shot regardless. So if something happens to Aljamain between now and then, if something happens to Peter Yan between now and then, we know Sandhagen is going to be ready to step in if he gets the opportunity to, assuming he gets cleared by a doctor, which we'll talk about more in just a little bit.
You know, I can say with the 135-pound division, it's fucking nice to actually see it moving again.
It is absolutely getting shaken the fuck up, man. And I agree. 135 was very stagnant for a hot fucking minute there. And it seems like there is absolutely some life getting breathed back into it finally and getting fucking firelit underneath that shit.
Since fucking, I'm not going to mention his name because I can't stand a cocksucker, but you know who we're talking about, since he decided to retire, and I'm using air quotes because I have a feeling that he's not quite done yet, but it's nice to see that people are actually getting moved around, whereas it just sat there when he was fucking on top, which is bullshit. I think we lost, did we lose feed? Or did he just bail ship? I think he bailed. Don't worry. We got this. RJ, what are we talking about?
I mean, he was just talking about all the bullshit that's been going on in 135. I really don't have anything to add to it because, I mean, 135 has been stagnant for like fucking 5 years.
Yeah, it is nice to fucking see people moving around and see people who actually, well, some people who are deserving of moving up or moving up. Other ones that, meh, because Dana White does like to suck some dick sometimes.
I just don't like the Aljamain Sterling throwing to the title shot. I don't like that.
And the only reason he got that is because he fucking, like I said it last week, the only reason he's getting it is because he subbed fucking Sandhagen. And
Yeah.
I said that was going to end up being the case where if Sandhagen won, he's still going to have to go behind Sterling because of that one fact. And Dana's not going to change his mind when he sees shit like that because he'll go, oh, he got subbed by him, so obviously he's better. No, he just got fucking lucky that night. That's all there is to it.
He had a puncher's chance, and he got that fucking chance, and he got that shot in that day.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well, there were some fucking solid fights though last week for being a card that was meh at best.
Yeah.
They were pretty solid overall.
There were some very decent fucking fireworks all night.
And there's some really good fucking BKFC fights. Those boys were fucking going hard in the paint on fucking Saturday night.
Sorry about that, folks. Dog life. Fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's all right. We were talking BKFC. It's okay.
Man, there was some fucking spectacular fights Saturday night. I'm telling you. For a night full of meh, overall, it fucking added up, man. I gotta say, even though it was a shorter card, BKFC was fucking popping Saturday night, man. There was some great fucking matchups that got like no fucking publicity whatsoever. Like 2 fights I didn't even know were on the fight card until I pulled it up while we were watching the fucking event, because they didn't fucking advertise that there was even going to be an event this weekend or last weekend.
Oh yeah. And what's even better is when you looked at what the cost of it was for us to watch, it was fucking cheap.
Yeah, it was fucking dirt cheap to watch fucking live. Like,
yeah,
they should have been pumping that.
Yeah, they could have got a lot more from that when they did. Although, I mean, well, I'll say for what was put out from the fighters this year, they could have earned a load more money from pay-per-view buys. I'm just saying. I
agree.
Like the way that those guys fucking went to war, especially the co-main and the main.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Holy shit.
I love watching people underestimate Joey Beltran. And I will say, Marcel Stamps came out swinging for the fucking fences. That dude earned the fucking stop that he got. He didn't make nothing easy. But, man, I love watching people underestimate Joey Beltran.
Dude, and he's such, like, people don't understand. He reminds me of fucking Cowboy, except for fucking bare knuckles.
Yeah,
he's a
bare knuckle and about double size.
But the fucking end of the second, into the third, that's where he starts to pick up and wear people out.
Yep.
And man, does he ever, because, doof, he puts a licking on some motherfuckers.
He rolls like a fucking freight train, man. He might not get going fast, but when he puts that fucking throttle down, like you said, usually middle of the second, third round kickoff, when he puts that fucking throttle down, it doesn't get let back up. And when Joey Beltran is going full speed at you, when you're 20 minutes or fucking, 9 minutes into a 10-minute fight, and all of a sudden you're exhausted and he's fighting like it's the first fucking round and you got nothing left.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to watch because he reminds me of a train is the best way to put it, as holding like fucking 80 fucking cars behind him. It takes that fucker a little while to get going, but once it gets going, it doesn't fucking stop.
Yeah, he's very juggernaut.
Like, I have this strange feeling the only way that he loses this title in there is somebody's gonna have to stop him.
Somebody's gonna have to stop him early.
Yeah, and it's gonna have to be fucking early.
And good luck with that, because as we were talking about Saturday night, when Joey fights in those early rounds, when he's getting his momentum, his hands are glued to his fucking face. You'll punch his fucking forearms and you'll punch his fucking hands all night long, but you ain't going to get one through to his fucking chin unless you really fucking earn it. That dude glues his hands to his face exactly like he fucking should, and he keeps them there. Anytime you're throwing, he's got quick movement and his hands stay glued to his fucking face. You ain't getting shots past his fucking guard.
That's one of those other things that I was quite surprised with for such a big guy. He rolls with punches so fucking well. Like, you'll see him fucking just covered and just
And then lean out. Yeah.
yeah, it's fucking crazy to see it. Like for such a big guy, he moves really fluidly, especially considering how slow of a starter is. I think he likes that rope-a-dope thing, you know?
I think he does too. And I think he likes it in BKFC much more because in MMA, you'll lose the fucking fight. If you got 3 5-minute rounds and you do that for the whole first round, they'll give him a fucking 10-8 to your opponent. Judges won't fucking understand what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you start to turn it on heavy in round 2. They'll give fucking round 1 away. In BKFC, Joey's still fucking landing and he's still moving, but you can see he's just letting homeboy fucking burn gas and he's getting his own wheels going nice and slowly. As soon as round 2 comes, that volume starts to pick up a little more. He starts to be a little more pressure forward. He starts cutting the cage off on you a little bit.
You know what else I think really helps him? That we've been talking about the live scoring.
I agree. As soon as the fucking bell rings, you can see where you stand.
You know exactly where you're at, and you know exactly what to fucking do.
Yeah, I agree. I that's one of the things I fucking love about them is that they give you that live scoring that everyone should be, in my opinion.
Yep, every fucking one across the board. Yeah. Fucking, if you guys still haven't been watching BKFC, if you're listening to this, you guys need to watch. There's a lot of good fights. You might not know all of the names because, look, it's a relatively, well, yeah, it's in its infancy.
They're just barely over a dozen events as an organization right now.
Fucking amazing. Like, it's well worth your time to go back and find some of the old fights. There's plenty of them out there that they've released. Dude, you've got the GOAT. Go back. That's been released. If I'm not mistaken, that's sitting on.
That's my go-to. Now. Both of them are on YouTube. I believe now. The first one and the
watch
Runback.
That. If that doesn't get you interested in BKFC, nothing fucking will.
Yeah, those
but
boys.
I guarantee you watch that fight. That's going to be all it takes, and you'll be hooked. And dude, even the ladies that throw down over there, fucking vicious. Like, look, I'm gonna put this out here. Not a big fan of a certain female MMA star on the Bellator side of the house. However, BKFC, that bitch can box. She takes some people's heads off. Do any of you guys know who I'm talking about? Fucking tatted to hell.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not a big fan of her MMA wise. She's fucking terrible MMA. I'll call it like I see it. But God.
Apparently she's much better at bare knuckle in all senses of the imagination because her BKFC and her OnlyFans are definitely keeping her career alive right now.
Well, you know, you got to make that spare cash where you can, right? Especially in the midst of a pandemic, since you're not actually fighting anybody right now. But, you know, in fact, there was who was that an ESPN article they did on her or something?
Yeah.
When it gets into mainstream sports media that you have an OnlyFans account, there's a big fucking problem.
Yeah.
Did that ESPN piece on her drop and link her OnlyFans account? That's the question, though. That's the question.
Not officially. It just said that they had. It's one of those things like they'll tell you that she has one, but they won't provide you to the link.
They should have provided the link and then requested this month. We want 25% of everything you get. Like, dude, we're a fucking business, man. We gave you money.
Yeah.
Throw us 25.
I mean, the difference in viewership that it brought, I think it would probably work out right.
Yeah. Well, not to mention, they need to do like they're doing a fucking page in BKFC and just fucking link our OnlyFans to BKFC because that'll get some more clicks to it too. Then
right,
BKFC, and just have all the female fighters OnlyFans HTTP.
Right. Well, I mean,
look, Rowdy Beck, great fucking boxer when it comes to BKFC.
Absolutely.
Terrible in MMA. Apparently, her OnlyFans is decent too. Granted, I don't know. It's not my cup of tea to go fucking pay to fucking no, not doing it. What I have a missus for, it's not necessary. If I want to go look at titties, hey, honey. Yeah.
Want to see titties? Hey, whoop them out.
That's right. Give me a little peeky. Wink at me.
I just want to do.
That's right. Yeah, no, BKFC though. In all seriousness though, if you guys are not watching it, go fucking watch it. Look,
Yeah, it's
I
spectacular.
know we don't talk about it as very often on here, but the few times that we have, we're saying it for good fucking reason. It's definitely worth your guys' time if you're in any way, shape, or form of anything punchy, kicky, whether it's MMA or hell, I'll just say even pugilistic. But this is way beyond pugilistic because
Yeah.
wrist wraps only. It's bare knuckles. I'm saying you're gonna see some fucking injuries if that's the kind of thing you're into, and it's not bad injuries. It's just a lot of cuts.
Yeah, there will be blood. They'll be stitched up and they'll be good to go in 2 weeks, but there will be blood.
Yeah. I mean, you get worse injuries in MMA and apparently pro football right now.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. But a couple more things we did get announced during the last couple of days here. We did get a last minute addition. Again, when you do good and you come out without a lot of damage, the new thing is that quick fucking turnaround. We got another, not as quick as Buckley's, obviously, but still, Justin Tafa on January 16th will be taking the quick turnaround for Carlos Felipe after the fucking crazy performance we saw from him 2 weeks ago. He's absolutely earned himself a shot to get a little bit bigger of a name than he was currently dealing with. And I think Tafa is going to be a pretty good matchup. I think stylistically, they're just close enough to make it interesting, but I think stat-wise, it's going to hold a little bit more impact than the last fight did. Now, we did kind of touch on it a little bit earlier here. For those of you who have not heard, we will not, unfortunately, be seeing Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier in 2020 like we had originally hoped for. We did, however, get the word directly from Dana White that they have offered officially from the UFC Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier to headline. I believe it's going to be UFC 259. I think that's what it's going to be. January 23rd. Conor McGregor has officially said that he is accepted and is hoping that they will be able to have it at Cowboy Stadium. And since Jerry Jones is a personal friend of both Conor McGregor and Dana White's, I think there's a pretty good fucking chance we may actually see it there if all the logistics work out. The only thing that we are really waiting to find out now is what weight they are going to fight at, because Dustin immediately responded. Of course, Conor had to tweet that he has accepted the 23rd, mentioned the Cowboy Stadium thing. Dustin, of course, immediately responded with, great, it's close to his birthday and that's close to home, so he's down for that as well. The only thing yet to be determined is what weight class these boys will be fighting at.
155.
I was just about to say the same thing.
I doubt they're going to do 170, and I doubt they're going to do 145 because we haven't seen Poirier at 145 and fucking years.
Yeah, neither one of those boys could make 45
And
now.
we
if they
might
fucking
even
had to.
We could possibly see a catchweight fight, but because I have this strange feeling with the way that Dana likes to work, if McGregor wins, he's going to immediately get another title shot at Khabib unless Gaethje wins. Then he'll fight Gaethje.
Right.
Because you know that they're going to want to throw him up in there to.
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah.
that's fucking money, and they might not even do that. They might go, okay, even if Khabib loses to Gaethje, which I hate to say this because I've been putting the cart in front of the horse a few too many times, and I'm going to do it again right here. There's a strong possibility that Gaethje could do it because Gaethje's one tough motherfucker lately. But even if Khabib loses, we could see McGregor Khabib 2 again.
Yep.
Purely because look, how much did
title
they
eliminator shot?
Well, that and how much did they fucking make on the fucking first one?
Mm-hmm.
Like both of those guys fucking easily took home fucking 7 figures off of that fight. Even after paying their fines and all that other shit.
Well, and the other thing, the 3D chess step from there is that not only does this set up the potential Conor Khabib rematch, but then after that fight, whether Khabib wins or loses the Conor rematch, there is still Khabib Tony for the 7th time to be made because Tony's in a rough fucking spot right now. And whether Khabib wins or loses against Conor would still make that fucking Khabib-Tony matchup that everyone has been dying to see. And Dana said himself, he's willing to risk a fucking meteor striking the planet to put that fight on again if they get the chance.
You know, because God forbid he would have just put it back on once all this shit happened instead of letting shit go fucking sideways.
Well, that makes too much sense, though. Dana can't do something like that.
That's
not how the UFC works.
And you know what's really fucking bad? If you go back, I remember this. If you go back and watch when we had this fucking slated, I said, finally, it's gonna fucking happen. Nothing can possibly go wrong. And what happens? We have the largest concert the world has ever seen, the Backstreet Boys reunion fucking tour. And I was fucking wrong again because, you know, something in this fucked up universe does not want this fight to happen. So what does it do? It kills millions and millions of people to stop this fucking fight from happening. I'm saying there's some bullshit. Mother Nature can go fuck herself. Whoever is pushing the universe here can go fuck themselves. Death, whoever it is, come take me now, bitch. Let's go. This is fucking horse shit.
Before Conor Khabib too, I really want them to put on Ferguson Khabib. Before Conor ever gets in the picture, they've been working on this for literally the entirety of this year. That I want to see that first.
I can say that if this is another 3D chess play out, but if the chips fall in the right way for it to happen, if Gaethje beats Khabib and Conor beats Poirier, we could end up with Conor versus Gaethje for the belt and Tony versus Khabib, maybe even on the same fucking card, because the timing would line up perfectly all the way across the board.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be a pretty fucking sweet card.
I was gonna say, name me a better fucking pay-per-view lineup than those two fights as the main and co-main event.
You know what the really fucked up 3D chess thing going on in this year is? No matter what happens, Dustin Poirier is going to get fucked in this one way or shape or form.
To be fair, he kind of earned it a little bit because he jumped a lot of the fucking line and skipped a lot of the ass whoopings he should have had to either deal out or take to get to that fucking interim title shot to begin with, in my opinion. If he's got to catch a couple of ass whoopings on his way back down the fucking ladder, but he gets $500,000 for his fucking charity in the process, I'm not going to fucking feel bad for him.
Yeah, I'm not going to feel bad for him either way, because you know what? Dude, that charity is going to pay for itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That charity, and that's the good thing about how, even as fucked up as it has ended up still, that's the good thing about this whole fucking weird scenario that we've got unfolding here, is that regardless of if the fight even sucks or not, the first thing that's going to happen, big news of 2021, is that charity is going to get $500,000 fucking dollars just from one donation. And I'm willing to bet once that goes through and Dustin inevitably posts that he came through on his word post on Twitter or wherever the fuck he puts it, it's going to inspire a lot more big fucking names to follow suit. It's never a bad thing. Yeah, it's never a bad thing when you get an avalanche of fucking celebrities, I'm using that term loosely, to start throwing their fucking wasted money at good causes. If this is what it takes, sign me the fuck up. I'll buy my ticket. Let's go.
Since we're talking about the charity aspect of this, I just want to say I'm quite disappointed in fucking Conor McGregor for taking the January 23rd day. For this reason. Not because I don't want to watch him fight, because I do, but because I wanted to see him put the double middle finger up to the UFC and say, you know what? We're still going to have this bout.
Right.
Let me get your plane tickets ready for you, your family, and your corner. Bring you over to Ireland. We're still going to do the charity thing. And what would have been really great was to keep it on that UFC pay-per-view day to show them that they're not the fucking kings. So, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed because Conor's a really good businessman, and he should have known that that would have pulled a lot of fucking money from them.
Well, but to that exact point, that's actually part of the reason why I'm so interested to see how this is going to play out. Because just like you said, everything else aside, Conor McGregor is a fucking businessman and a damn fine one at that. And he doesn't give up that easily for no reason. So I'm led to believe that there's something he's got up his sleeve still. I'm leaning directly towards the fact that he wants it specifically at Cowboys Stadium instead of Las Vegas. And he specifically mentioned his friend Jerry Jones. I'm thinking there's got to be another angle here that this might be to help Jerry Jones bring in some fucking good publicity for them, which could also bring in more millions for the fucking charity. And then Connor comes out smelling like a fucking rose because look what he orchestrated.
I have an idea here. This might be a little far fetched, but I have a fucking idea here. How big is that fucking stadium? It's the largest in the NFL.
I think it's still I think Vegas's new stadium beats.
Oh yeah, Vegas.
But they did that specifically just to fuck Cowboys. But still, yeah, it's massive. I think it's 100K.
Because of how large it is, you can still social distance and have fans there. And they have some of the largest fucking monitors in the NFL. And they're not just regular monitors. They're fucking HD fucking...
Yeah, baby.
Like, I wish I could say how many dots per inch there is on that fucking screen, but it's too fucking
I think they're
big.
all 4K, yeah. They're
4K all
they're massive.
4K. And you know what? That means they could fill just as many seats there as they could in...
Oh, more.
Like
I think more. Yeah. Well, look
at... And more, because
like
there would
Kansas
be enough
City.
room.
Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium, they're only allowing 25% capacity to keep social distancing. You have to keep masks on in the whole 9 yards. They still put 17,000 people in that stadium every weekend there's a game at 25% capacity. If you get 50% capacity in Cowboy Stadium and then you can do concessions and you can do merchandising and shit again, that's fucking huge. That's huge because I think it's 21 or 20,000 in Vegas at T-Mobile Arena. I think it's like 20 or 25,000.
And Connor might have some idea of a gate as well as
pay-per-view.
Because you know he can points.
Damn right. He's one of the only non-champions who still has a pay-per-view clause.
Mention Jerry Jones sees this and goes, well, once this pandemic is lifted and we're in our off season, why don't we rent this out to the UFC for X number of dollars? He's going to keep
when they can fill it.
The amount of fans that'll go there just for one to see that stadium. Because look, if I had the opportunity to go there, outside of football season, I would go and tour that stadium because it's fucking massive.
It's awesome looking, yeah.
So I'm just saying, there's this strange possibility that I see that there could be Connor working a little magic there to go, hey man, I got a little business proposition for you. And Jerry Jones, that dude's a businessman too. And
I said it the other night, man. He's like a white Mr. Krabs. He likes money.
Yep. And both of those two think on the same side of things. If it
money wavelength,
money,
man,
it don't make sense.
That's right. Yeah, this could be potentially very, very fucking lucrative for everyone involved, and the charities are going to win the biggest, and that's why I'm so fucking okay with this.
And they have AstroTurf there. It's not even grass.
That's right.
So you don't have to worry about people walking around and fucking up the field because it's AstroTurf. And if it's just like any other AstroTurf I know of, you can roll the fucking mats up off the ground. Why? Because I used to have to fucking do that at one of my old jobs. So I know it can be done. And when it comes outside of that, and let's say they do get to start using it for UFC events, once we get past the pandemic, a full capacity Cowboy Stadium, it's fucking over 100,000 seats. Just stupid, ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm on it. I'm on the fucking train. I'll buy the ticket now. I don't fucking care. I'll pre-order it. I mean, I like the way this fucking course is headed.
But I'm still salty about not throwing up the fucking middle fingers to the UFC because you know what? I agree. As much as he is a businessman, I think this is a poor business move for this reason to show that he's got more pull than the UFC does right now. And to be honest, with something like that, I think he would because I don't think they could put together a main card big enough to stop that show.
Well, I think that's part of the back end of this is because Conor McGregor has specifically mentioned in every single tweet that he has made about this, including the one where he tells Dustin that he accepts for January 23rd, is that after this fight, he's going to box Manny Pacquiao. Think about the numbers you could draw if you held that event in Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah.
Do it in the summer, do it in the off season when the tour is hopefully calmed down enough to at least get, 3/4 full capacity. Plus that's a full-size pay-per-view meal. Those are big boy dollars.
Yeah. And there's a lot to it that's going on here. So.
Yeah, there's a lot in the works, and I like it.
I really wish I knew what was going on behind the scenes with Conor right now.
Oh man, to
The
be a fly on the
insight that's
fucking
going
wall.
on there, we can only speculate about. And to be a fly on the wall there right now would be fucking fantastic.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
I'd give up talking privileges until everything fucking worked out, just so that way I could know what was going on there. Because there's something fishy going on, and I'm trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah, I'd happily sign an NDA to be able to just sit in and shut the fuck up and listen.
Yep. What day is it? It's Shut the Fuck Up Friday.
Right? That's right.
Every day of the goddamn week.
Oh, but moving along from there, one other interesting fight announcement words that I did want to mention real quick that they just announced yesterday afternoon. Roxanne Modafferi will officially be taking on Viviane Araújo on January 30th after she gets done grappling and getting her ass handed to her by Danielle Kelly in the ladies only grappling tournament that will be going on next month that we will talk about when we get a little closer to that. But Roxanne Modafferi is another one who, ironically enough, has been around for a while, but wasn't really as active as I think she could have been because she was doing a lot of grappling outside of the UFC, but has now started to seem to get her schedule a little better lined up and is starting to keep the fights rolling and is always training. So she's starting to look better in the cage and she's starting to look better in the grappling. Unfortunately, Danielle Kelly is going to rip her fucking leg off, but in the cage, I think she's going to be a really good fucking matchup for Viviane Araújo. I think that'll be a really good fight to talk about when we get a little closer to the end of January there. That being said, the other thing that I did want to talk about real quick here, we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, was some of the medical suspensions from Saturday night's UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi 6. Interesting results here. Marlon Moraes, who got KO'd, only got a 45-day suspension. Corey Sandhagen, who did the KO on Marlon Moraes and didn't take any real significant damage in the process, got a 6-month suspension or has to be mandatory cleared by an ophthalmologist because apparently he took a shot to the side of the eye.
Dude, this is a constant fucking what the fucking when it comes to the way that they dove out their fucking medical suspensions. It really makes you scratch your head going, what did he say to the physicians after the fight that deemed them necessary to suspend him for 6 months?
Yeah.
Because look, I'm sure there's a post-fight physical of some sort. But what would have fucking caused that? He barely took anything at all. He walked away goddamn
virtually scratchless.
Yeah, he's virtually unscathed coming out of there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense unless that's their way. I don't. Okay, tinfoil hat time. Here we go. Tinfoil hat. Look, I'm going to say it. I think the UFC may possibly have something going on with the medical suspension doctors where they're in bed together going, hey, look, we need this guy to have X number of time off because we want to set him up for this fight, but it's not going to happen for X number of months, and we don't want him to just hop right back in because it'll fuck up what we have planned in the docket. I have a little feeling that there might be a little quid pro quo happening here. Like, you do this and we're going to feed you some extra cash type shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it keeps their alignments of what their goals are for the upcoming 6, 8, 12 months ahead. Because look, all right, and I hate to reference this again, but let's look at the Connor and Dustin thing here. There was 2 fights that were fucking canceled. One in November, one in December. They could have taken either one of those. However, if you look at the fucking press release that Dana had with them, he said, nope, we've already had this all scheduled for the last 12 months. No, you fucking didn't, because these 2 fucking fights fell out in the last 30 days. You didn't
in the last 2 weeks.
Dick. Yeah, you didn't have dick. Don't fucking lie.
Yep.
They have other fucking plans that they wanted to run and didn't like the fact that Conor McGregor was leading the show. So it was kind of a show of, well, my dick's going to be bigger than you. Same concept with this fucking tinfoil hat thing I've got going here. I really think they've got to be in bed with fucking the docs that are writing the fucking, hey, you got a 6-month suspension. Because otherwise, they wouldn't be able to keep their 12-month at a time fucking schedule of plans. Look, this is the fight business. Your plans don't mean dick. I'll just say this in this way. I think it has something to do with that, because there's many times where we see guys in there that they don't take any damage at all and get a fucking 18-month suspension, 12-month suspension, 6 months for some shit where you're going, he got a bruise on his ribs and you're going to give him 6 months? It doesn't take 6 months for bruised ribs to fucking heal up. That takes fucking 6 weeks.
Tom Breeze is another great example. Earlier knockout on that fight. First round fucking knockout. Took 0 damage. The other 6-month suspension from the fucking card. Ironically, none of the people, not fucking one of the people who were knocked out Saturday night, got a suspension longer than 45 days.
It doesn't make any sense. Look, the only sense I can possibly make of it is if both of them had broken hands and required surgery.
Right. Well, the only thing that I will say is and it's not even a silver fucking lining. I think it's the only saving grace to the fucked up situation that we've seen in these medical suspensions lately, is that every one of them is 6 months or cleared by X doctor. And I guarantee you, Corey Sanhagen's going to his fucking ophthalmologist first thing that he can get into that fucking office this week, and he's going to get fucking cleared. And then that will be out the goddamn window. But the fact that they have the balls to make these fucking declarations like this, it's fucking weird, man. And even if it's not tinfoil hat, it's fucking suspect, man. It's suspect as shit.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Although, look, maybe that or cleared by a medical doctor, that's their catch-all to say, you know what? We just have to put this here just to say you have to get cleared by a doctor. Right. How about just say suspended until cleared by doctor? Don't fucking put a time limit on it.
That's kind of the way I look at it as well. If you're going to require him to see a doctor, don't say you're suspended for X amount of time or see the fucking doctor. Just say you're suspended until this kind of fucking doctor clears you for this type of injury that you took in that fucking fight. All the suspicion, all the sketchy bullshit goes right out the window when you do that. And it's not fucking difficult.
Yeah. Just saying, there's some bullshit there. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I agree completely.
My tinfoil hat was on there a little bit, and it got a little off into space there.
Hey, that's all right. This is the show where armchair quarterbacks get to be Eddie Bravos. We are no stranger or opponent to tinfoil hats around here. YouTube.
Occasionally gotta wear that. I'm not
Tower 15, bro.
Hey, I'm just saying. YouTube. Is that where you find that information? If not, that's where you should look for it.
That's right. I just want to say we're kind of like Wikipedia here sometimes, so you'll hear shit that might not be true. But I'm going to talk like it's true anyways.
That's right. It's true enough you could tell somebody, and if they don't know, you'll get away with it.
That's right.
Oh, but that being said, that will bring us into our meat and potatoes-esque main course of the show here. The reason for the season: UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi 6 or UFC Fight Night 3 Round 2 or UFC on ESPN 57, I believe, or UFC Fight Night 183 or UFC Fight Night T-City versus the Zombie. it's a show of 1,000 fucking names. UFC's horrible about
Good
not just
God.
clearing this shit out. You know what I mean? Like, UFC, get it together, guys. Come on. But the reason for the season, the namesake for tonight's episode here, we say it every time this comes around, and I'm going to say it again because that's how this fucking works. You can't expect a fight night card to be a pay-per-view card. It's just not going to fucking happen. There's a reason pay-per-view cards are stacked with names you recognize, because the fight nights are not. So obviously there are a bunch of fighters here who are either making their debut or are still relatively unranked and relatively unknown. That's bound to happen. That's okay. That doesn't mean they're not going to be great fights. It just means we're not going to break them down, because that's not what we're about here. So the prelims are just that. They are mostly relatively newer fighters, relatively unknown fighters, people making their debuts. There are a couple specifically that I will tell you that you do want to keep your eye out for if you are going to watch the prelims. Excuse me. The first one, let me get the card pulled up. Here we go. I know Fresh is going to be fucking mad he didn't get to talk about him, because Fresh always loves singing this man's praises. Jun Young Park is going to be taking on John Phillips at middleweight in the middle of the prelim card. That's going to be a spectacular fucking fight. And then following that fight as well, the ladies kick the fuck off. Jillian Robertson getting back into action against Poliana Botello. That's going to be a very interesting fight as well. But that's about all the prelims really have to get you excited about. That being said, this fucking main card is legit. I'm not saying every fight on the fucking card could be the main event, but every fight on the main card is a legit fucking matchup here.
Isn't there a Nurmagomedov on that fucking early prelims too?
There is. Khabib's cousin is opening the card.
I was gonna say that's worth a watch just to see how his cousin is compared to him.
It's kind of like watching old Khabib footage, honestly. He's like a rusty early version of Khabib.
Still interesting for the fact of seeing if he's evolved, being as well, who his cousin is. He's got to have learned some fucking tricks coming out of there.
True. If you are a fan of the Khabib camp, then you may be interested in that opening fight. I would rather be taking a shit and wiping with rusty barbed wire, but you know, to each their own.
I would much rather tell you to skip the first 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Okay. I'll say if you're interested in wrestle fucking, that's the place to be.
There you go. If you want to see a Dagestani wet blanket attack, that's how they're opening the card.
Hey, dude, fucking search it out on Pornhub. That might be pretty hot.
I mean, whatever cranks your motor.
I mean, or OnlyFans, like Dagestani wet blanket. That might be a thing.
I'm gonna open up a fucking OnlyFans just so I can post that shit on there.
Dagestani wet blanket. Oh, please let that be your name.
Oh man, that's awesome. But that being said,
Speaking of which, I need to hire somebody who has really good video editing skills.
Right? Oh, shit.
I got you.
We'll put this together just yet.
I got you.
But that being said, the main card here coming up this weekend is 100% legit and will, I'm telling you right fucking now, be good start to finish. They are opening this main card with fucking poor Thomas Almeida has had a hell of a 2020 trying to get back in the goddamn cage. He just has not been able to get it back there. The fucking concert just has not left him and his fucking crew alone. Luckily, we have got him back in this weekend. They're opening the main card. Thomas Almeida versus Jonathan Martinez. These are two fucking hungry young dudes trying to crack into the rankings in the featherweight division. Both of these guys, young prospects. Both of these guys fucking on the trail to try and get that number behind their name. I think in this situation, I like Jonathan Martinez. He is quick and he is fucking crazy with some of his angles that he cuts. But I think in this situation, Thomas Almeida is just a little bit more well-rounded here, and I think that's going to give him the edge. I think he takes this one home. I think we get an exciting opening fight to start the main card, but I think Almeida is going to take it home.
I'll just put it like this. Every time I see Martinez in there, I don't know why this is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just an asshole. But there's a little bit of a Napoleon Dynamite-esque vote for Pedro going on here.
Yes, I think the same fucking thing every time I see him.
Like, look, maybe his face looks like a movie star. Right? Or maybe it has to do with his
It's the hair.
UFC fucking picture that they took of him, which absolutely says vote for fucking Pedro. Look, if you don't know what I'm referencing there, my apologies. But that's what I look at. And only problem I have with Almeida, that dude has I would say he's hot or cold, but he's fucking been nothing but cold. Oh, there you go. Now everybody gets to see what we're talking about here.
It didn't work. OBS freaked out. Didn't do the thing.
OBS freaked out. Of course it did.
Dirty prostitute.
Yeah. So, if you don't know what he looks like, just go to UFC.com, look up this week's event. That's what it boils down to. I'm looking at somebody who's strictly fucking cold versus vote for Pedro. I'm gonna vote for Pedro here, just because Thomas Almeida has looked like fucking dick every fight that we've seen him in. I really don't think that he's going anywhere. So, and I can't say every fight, but goddamn near all of them. So, vote for fucking Pedro.
To go off of TJ, if you don't know, vote for Pedro. I don't think you belong here.
Might be a little young.
That's a legitimate fact. I do like Martinez. He does go at his opponent in very unusual angles. Like Mater said, he sees things very differently. But I do think Almeida is going to be a little bit tough for him because Almeida, both of them are good on their feet, but Almeida is a lot more. He's going to be a lot to handle standing on the feet. Almeida has some serious fucking skills standing. With everything that has happened, I'm hoping Almeida has a serious fire, like just in the pit of his fucking soul right now, that he wants to get back in there and do his fucking job. So I do want to see Almeida take this one.
Agreed. Either way, that's a hell of a fucking matchup. It's not going to be an easy fucking swipe either way it goes, and that's a great fucking fight to open the card with, in my opinion. Excuse me. So from there, we are moving on to, I've got to say, probably the busiest fucking man in MMA. Realistic, and I don't use this phrase jokingly, and I don't use this phrase sarcastically. I mean 100% literally, the busiest man in MMA, James fucking Krause, coming in to take on Claudio Silva. If you don't know, not only is James Krause a commentator for, I believe, 3 different organizations, including some of the smaller UFC or UFC production shows, but I believe he also commentates for LFA and for Tora MMA, I believe. But also on top of all of that, runs his own gym, Glory MMA, out of Kansas City, and is currently, right fucking now, managing 13 UFC fighters who are actively fighting, including Megan Anderson, who is in Kansas City training for her fight with Amanda Nunes at 145. So this man literally spends every waking moment of his life, eat, shit, sleep, breathe MMA. James fucking Krause is the busiest man in combat sports, period. On top of that, he's an active fucking fighter in the UFC. So add the fact that he's coaching literally a baker's dozen of UFC caliber killers, plus all of the ranked or unranked and the amateur fighters and the regular Joe Schmoes that come through his fucking gym. He's also himself a fucking fighter, and a damn good one at that. That being said, you also have to wonder, does that take away from his focus when it comes time to fight because he's spread so fucking thin, trying to accommodate so many different styles from so many different fighters to get them to their best aspect. Does that take away from his ability to work on himself as the fighter and keep his best aspects sharp enough? I think it might a little bit, but I also have to think that working with that many fucking people, working with that many styles, being as legitimately a great of a coach as he is, I think that has to, by nothing other than default, if nothing else, give you that much more of a fight IQ that you can access in the moment from being able to sit in the corner from 13 different points of view and being able to read and call what should be happening based on what's happening. I think that's got to give him, in my opinion, one of the greatest fight IQs that we have got in the UFC right now. And I genuinely have to say that I kind of feel bad for Claudio Silva because I don't have anything against the guy, but I just do not see a place where he could have a better game than James fucking Krause right now. And I wish him the best of luck, but I think the James Krause comes home with the W this weekend.
I'm right down with that the whole fucking way down the line there. I mean, the only fucking setback that he's had in his UFC career so far was Trevin Giles. And that was a split decision, if I'm not mistaken.
And that was an early Trevin Giles, too. That was before anybody knew exactly what the fuck that guy was going to do either. So,
yeah. And I mean, that was here recently, because I mean, that was in the last, that was at the beginning of the year, I think.
I was going to say, I think that was early this year, yeah.
And then Claudio Silva, he's had some solid fights, but man, watching what James Krause can do, if you guys have been watching, he's been in the UFC for 4 or 5 years now.
I think 5 years.
He's been fighting once or twice a year, so he's not exactly a household name because, well, look out how many fucking goddamn fucking hands he's got and how many different pots going on here.
Oh, shit.
Of course, look, I'm sure when it comes time for him to fight, he obviously takes the fucking time to sit down, train, map out his game plan and everything else, along with still coaching, and because he's still got to do that. You run a fucking gym, you're a fucking coach. So,
that's right.
But at the same time, you're training with people like fucking Megan Anderson, who's about to fight for a title. You've got a fucking good stable of fighters there. Not to mention being such a great analyst, he understands the fight like nobody else. Like, as far as people who have their head in knowledge in MMA right now, there's not too many people who else you can put to this level or have their fingers in as many fucking pots as he does. Even, all right, look, let's say active UFC fighters that are actually commentators as well. You have Dominic Cruz, you have Paul Felder. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we have some fucking retired ones or some that used to be active.
Brandon Moreno.
Oh yeah, Moreno.
And the only reason that's fresh in my mind is because he was on an interview this afternoon that I saw. He does the UFC's Spanish commentary, and then as much as I don't fucking like to give him credit for it, he does do a pretty fucking good job of it. Michael Chiesa has been doing a lot of fucking desk work with Karen Bryan lately.
He has, and he's been doing a pretty good job. But
and
like,
one more,
I'm talking live fight commentary though, because he hasn't really been doing that. But either way, no. The point I'm getting at here is there's not very many of them that have their fingers in that many fucking pots at the same time,
right?
And still managing to have a very good MMA career.
Yeah,
be a great fucking analyst, and he's obviously a fucking damn good coach if people are flying from fucking Australia to train in Kansas City for it.
To train title fights with him.
Yeah, to train title fights with him. So obviously the dude knows what he's doing. I don't want to look past Silva because we've seen what he's capable of, but a lot of his fights, we've seen a lot of decisions out of him. A couple of submissions, because if I'm not mistaken, he subbed like Nordine Taleb way back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
Like 2 or 3 years ago. When I say back in the day, and you say that like it's that fucking long ago, but sometimes in the fight world it seems like it. Although if I'm gonna say back in the day, we'll start talking BJ Penn and that shit back in the day, and then we'll really get back there. But no, this point, I'm with you 100% on this one. I think Kraus takes it just purely on the fucking fact of the dude knows his shit, and I just see nothing but good things coming out of him. One minor setback on a decision. That's it.
Yeah, Kraus is way too well rounded, and his fight IQ is unfucking matched. There's very slim chance that man will lose this. I say very slim because everybody knows you have a puncher's chance in hell, but there's a very slim chance that he loses this. He's just, his IQ is just fucking absurd, and he's way too well rounded for somebody like Sylvia.
Agreed. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think Kraus is going to show everybody exactly why we sing so many of his fucking praises this weekend. That being said, that will bring us into the people's co-main event slot, as it were, the third from last fight. One, Jimmy Crute versus Modestas Bukauskas. The last time we saw Bukauskas out there, he was looking like a goddamn stud. Guy basically came out of nowhere and put on a fucking show for us. 11-1 versus 11-2. Even their fucking records are right down the fucking line. 6-1 versus 6-2. These guys are on paper real fucking close. I think this is going to be one of those situations where it comes down to who gets to implement their game plan first. I like Bukauskas, I really fucking do, but you got to think Jimmy Crute coming off that first defeat of his entire fucking career is going to do one of two things. Either it's going to mentally break him, and this is going to be a chance for us to see Bukauskas really start to take off and just shut him the fuck down, or it's going to light a fire under his ass, the likes of which he has never seen because he has never tasted defeat until now. So now he's got that out of the way. That pressure's off his fucking shoulders. And we've seen time and time again, some of the best in the fucking world have a hell of a run at undefeated, but it takes that first ass whooping, that first L, to really kick them into fucking overdrive. But when they do, when the ones that can take that first fucking loss that ruins their quote unquote perfect record and can get back on the horse and use it as motivation, those are the ones that get to be the most fucking dangerous. And Jimmy Crute didn't get to be undefeated because he got fucking lucky, because he lands a once in a while shot. Jimmy Crute's fucking good. Jimmy Crute's problem was that Jimmy Crute was buying too much of what Jimmy Crute was selling. And we've seen that happen to too many fucking fighters over the years. When you start smelling what you're selling a little too fucking hard, sometimes your focus comes off the fight game. And when it does, sometimes you get that ass whip. Poor Jimmy Crute caught one. I'm inclined to believe, though, that's going to light a fire under that boy's ass. He wants to be something, and he's got the potential to be something, in my opinion. And I like Bukauskas, and I think that motherfucker has got great potential as well. But I think given this situation, given that they're so fucking close, they're so equal in so many different fucking ranges, I think that fire that I'm hoping got lit under Jimmy Crute's ass is going to be the decision maker here. I think it's going to be a great fucking fight. I think we're going to see fireworks from fucking start to finish, but I think that fire is going to be enough to get Jimmy Crute going again. I think we're going to see Jimmy Crute back in the W column again.
Well, if you look at Jimmy Crute's 4 fights in the UFC, first fight in the UFC against the Bear Jew, Paul Craig, subbed him 3rd round. His
impressive as shit.
Next fight, 1st round KO. Next fight after that, takes his loss to Serkinov, Misha. And that was a 1st round sub. What's he do in February? He turns around, gets a 1st round sub of his own. So he finishes fights. He's taken that one loss on the chin. Look, he didn't take any damage in the fucking Misha fight. Just he got caught. But that was a little high on his own supply type action there. So I have a feeling coming back and showing, yeah, guess what? I shook it off. must get a first round sub. I think he's back on the fucking wagon here, and I think we're gonna see a fucking really quick upward spiral here. And that's not to take anything away from the Vaulted Gladiator here, but Modestus, I don't think he's on the same level. Don't get me wrong, he won his fucking his first fight in the UFC in July.
Spectacular fashion.
Yeah, in a fucking beauty, a fucking knockout in fucking first round, just doing fucking work. So I mean, but I just don't think he's not on the same level. I think that little bit of extra UFC time that Jimmy Crute has is going to make the difference here. And it's not that it's a lot of extra UFC time because it's only a couple fights more, but they're both young in their career. But being under the lights that many times versus Modestus, I think that's going to play a good factor into it. Not to mention, I'll say it, Jimmy Crute, in my fucking opinion, is a goddamn animal. He's a rabid fucking animal, and I don't think he's getting enough fucking airtime. I really don't, because from what we've seen out of him, I mean, he's fought some. What's the best way to put this? I can't say huge names, but he's fought some pretty big names in the UFC so far. A lot of people know who the Bear Jew is. They know who Smiling Sam Alvey is, because Sam Alvey got fucking killed by him. Then they know who Circumcall is, and I'm just saying he's fought some pretty decently known folks and done relatively well, with the exception of the fucking lost Circumcall. But he just got caught there, so I have a feeling he's going to get a lot more airtime after this, because I think he's going to win this in dominating fashion. I think we're going to see another first round knockout coming.
So the way I'm looking at this is Modestus. He definitely has some skill. The way he stands now, I do agree he is not on the same level as somebody like Crute. Crute really shows a little bit of everything. He's taking people to the ground. He's standing up and throwing fucking heat. He's much more versatile and more comfortable on every aspect than what you've seen Modestus at. Modestus really doesn't go to the ground that much. He has, but he doesn't look very comfortable being on the ground. He doesn't look very confident in what he's doing on the ground. Whenever you look at Crute, he's yanking you to the ground, and he's taking your fucking arm, he's taking your leg, and he is fucking you up. Crute is definitely has a fucking great career ahead of him. He is. I want him, like we all have said, to take the loss in stride and fucking remotivate yourself and make yourself fucking better than what you were before, because he definitely has a fucking great potential being in the UFC.
Absolutely.
I'm going fucking Crute on this one.
Absolutely agree. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight, but.
And I was trying to find a reason to play heel there, and I just couldn't do it. Because somebody's got to play the heel eventually, and I just couldn't fucking do it there. I wanted to, but Crute's got way too much going for him. And I figured of all the fights that were on the card that I figured we would talk about, that might be the one where there might be a little heel action. Then more I thought about it, no.
That's okay. I think I'm about to give you a chance to play your heel here, because I'm about to shock some folks, I believe. Because that is going to bring us to our co-main event of the evening. One of the strangest, I will say, co-main event matchups we have seen in quite some time. This I would compare to a goose-shaped mashed potato plate being brought out to you at McDonald's. Not something you'd expect, but not something you're going to send back right away either. You're going to take a look and see what the fuck is actually going on here. That being Caitlin Chukagian the current #1 ranked fighter in the 125-pound division, welcoming on the move up Jessica Andrade, leaving the strawweight division for her debut at 125 pounds. This is a bit of an odd duck, to say the least. Andrade obviously doesn't have anything going for her at 115 anymore. We can clearly see that. I don't think the move to 125 is a bad idea. The thing that throws me off a little bit here is the fact that her first fight in the division, they're giving her the #1 ranked girl. This very much seems like they are, from what we have seen the UFC do in the past, lining up Andrade to take out Chukagian and then get a quick shot to Valentina, which we have seen time and time again be a terrible idea. And I agree completely. If Andrade gets past Chukagian, whether it's easy, whether it's decision, I don't care. Throwing her right to Valentina after this and the Jennifer Maia fight, which we all know Maia's going to get fucking stomped. It's going to be bad. That being said, this is where I think the twist is going to M. Night Shyamalan a lot of people here. I think Jessica Andrade moving to 125 is probably the smartest fucking thing she's done in the last 10 years. We've seen her have some damn discernible flashes of fucking greatness at 115, but we have seen very clearly that the talent that is there is way beyond what she has at 115. That being said, we also know that Jessica Andrade is fucking huge and has a very hard cut to get to 115. If you take an extra 10 pounds off the cut of a girl that we've seen look very good in a very competitive division, you tend to see a girl who's a very big problem for those other girls in the new division she comes to. And we've seen the power and the precision that Andrade had at 115. If you make that power even stronger and give her a little bit more of a gas tank, you know, I've said it time and time again, Valentina holds that belt at 125 until she's done with it. But the rest of that division is legitimately questionably suspect. There is no clear pecking order in 125. In 115 at strawweight, you can look at that list in any order. Oh shit, throwing my marker. You can look at that list of names in any order and immediately know, based on the names, because you know those fighters, who belongs where. Even a lot of hardcore fans would have a hard time doing that with 125. You know Valentina, she sits at the top of the fucking mountain until she decides to leave. But the rest of that division, it's a lot of up in the air there. There's no real clear discernible pecking order. And if you get somebody like Andrade who knows what the fuck she's doing, and now you give her more power and more gas tank over a division full of girls who are really clusterfucked other than the literal top of the stack, even if they don't give her Valentina after this fight, I legitimately think that Jessica Andrade is going to be a very serious problem for a lot of girls at 125 pounds. And I think she is going to give Caitlin Chukagian a very, very big surprise, because she might not be Valentina, but I think at 125 pounds, her power will be pretty fucking comparable. And we saw what the power of Valentina can do to Caitlin Chukagian. I think Jessica Andrade knocks Caitlin Chukagian the fuck out this weekend.
All right, well, you wanted to give me the opportunity to play heel. That's kind of hard to play heel when that's about as far from the possible fucking truth as it's going to happen tonight. But, you know, I guess, look, I will agree Andrade is powerful at 115. I will agree she's way too big for that division when it comes to muscle mass and size and dropping down. However, get your fucking card ready. The caveat to that statement, she's 5'1". She's almost midget status when it comes to height. Most of the girls she's going to fight in 125 are going to have a massive fucking reach on her. Chukagian, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the tallest girls in 125
Yes, she
at a
is.
whopping 5'9".
Yep.
So she's going to give up, I'm going to guess, 6-8 inches of reach because of that. Look, height does have to do with your reach. Generally, your wingspan is pretty close to your fucking height. There are some few exceptions to that rule, as we do know, but so 5'1", we're talking here. That means you have a 61-inch reach, maybe 62. And Kagan coming at 5'9", that's 69-inch reach, I'm guessing, somewhere in there, 68, 69, maybe 70.
62-inch reach for Andrade's 68 for Caitlin.
Simple human anatomy. That's all I'm saying. We're all built pretty much the same when it comes to height and wingspan. There are a few exceptions to the policy, but we're not on those. Like I said, these ones you can pretty much look at and tell. Andrade is powerful. Yeah, she can connect, but outside of watching Chukagian fight Shevchenko, Chukagian manages distance fucking phenomenally well. Like, if you go and watch all of her other fights, she's very smart when it comes to managing distance when it's on the feet. So I have this strange feeling Andrade is going to have a hard time getting in. We're going to see something along the lines of fucking Rose Namajunas managing distance on her. I don't think we're going to see the knockout that you're hoping for. And I'm not saying that you're hoping for it, but, I just don't foresee that happening. She's going to have to get in, and I don't think she's going to be able to do so. She'll be able to do so a couple of times, but I don't think with any regularity. That's wherein I can't say that I see the knockout coming in. Now, I'm not saying it's not a possibility, because we know she does have knockout power for the women's side of the house. She definitely has knockout power. I just can't see her getting in. I really don't, because Kagan manages her distance very well, especially when you look at a lot of the kicks and shit she throws. She does a great job of managing distance. Now, I'm not saying she's the best fucking striker in the world, but she is very good at managing distance.
This is true.
So I think that's what's going to be the deciding factor here, and not because she's fucking number one ranked, because that doesn't mean dick in the 125-pound division. It's quite literally a fucking toss-up in this division. It is nice to see Andrade move out of the fucking 115, where she's not going to have to cut so much weight. I think she's going to have a lot more gas in her tank, so she's going to be able to throw a lot more. Now, there's one side note to that, though, because this is something I always wonder with fighters that are moving up. Yeah, you don't have to cut as much. So does that mean you're not going to work quite as hard as you did during your fucking camps? Because you don't have to cut as much? It's kind of for me, I think of it as a double-edged sword, because a lot of times we see fighters move up in weight class. And generally, this is more on the fucking men's side of the house. But you'll see them move up in weight class, and yes, they have the speed on that fighter, but they don't have the fucking power. We've seen a lot of those guys come up. Well, let's just go back to our current fucking champ in the light heavyweight division, Jan Blachowicz, for example, welcoming all of those wonderful fucking 185ers that decide to make the jump to 205. Doesn't fucking work. Look, this is only a 10-pound jump on the women's side of the house, so I'm sure her power will still translate. But getting in on those taller fighters, because 115ers are generally shorter than the 125ers. Why? Simple human anatomy again. Look, there's a common theme here. The anatomy has a lot to do with it. Anatomy of a fighter. Yeah, she's fucking yoked for as small as she is. She's fucking yoked. I wouldn't want to get hit by her. And I'm fucking damn near double her weight. I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to fucking get hit by her. Look, I just don't think she's going to be able to get in as well. Now, I'm not saying it's not a possibility, but I'm also wondering how hard she's going to train, because the weight cut's not going to be as bad. And I'm guessing she walks around probably closer to 145 and was probably dropping 30 pounds to get to 115, because
I bet.
Somebody who walks around all fucking yoked and no neck having ass, yeah, you had to cut a lot of fucking weight. Chukagian, she's not a big girl. And I don't mean that in a she's just not fucking as muscular as fucking looking at Andrade. She's more of a lanky fighter when it comes to that division, which is fine. That works for her. She does it. I just think it's really going to come down to a little bit of anatomy here, because to be honest, I think they're pretty evenly matched when it comes to what their skill sets are.
Right.
I really do. I just think that the big deciding factor here is that fucking distance. If Caitlyn manages her distance like she normally does, I think it's going to be an easy night of work for her. I'm not saying she's going to finish Andrade, but I think it'll make it a lot easier on her. Now, if she does something, changes her fucking routine, whatever that keeps her from doing her normal managing of distance, yeah, she'll get fucking cleaned out. But I don't foresee that happening, because you don't change something that works.
Right.
So, I mean, I have to give it to Chukagian on this. So I guess if you're going to call me the heel on this, feel free, because that's about as close as to getting a heel on this fucking card as I'm probably going to get.
So I have a two-part counterpoint to that. One, I will absolutely give you this. Chukagian is real good at managing distance. She really is. But, and I'm talking Sir Mix-a-Lot size, but she generally does it with her kicks, because her striking, for the most part, leaves a lot to be desired. It's there, but it leaves a lot to be desired. The caveat to that is that we have learned explicitly and painfully this last weekend that sometimes throwing a kick isn't going to close that distance as much as you think it will. And I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that Andrade is going to throw a spinning Buckley fucking wheel kick, but I guarantee you Andrade watched that fight and got an idea to catch a fucking kick, knowing that Chukagian is going to be throwing them. And all it takes is one time for Andrade to catch one of those kicks and follow through with that fucking overhand right, and the blonde fighter's going night-night.
Okay. I can see your point there. However, she probably did watch that Buckley fight and think, maybe I shouldn't catch the kick for this fucking reason too.
True.
Just saying.
Absolutely true.
That could be something that's weighing on a lot of fighters right now, because you know what?
That's going to fuck up a lot of people's plans.
So I've heard so many people talk about the kick. It was phenomenal. Now, you know, the one way to fucking counter that, the second you grab them, instead of leaning in for the punch, pull that motherfucker to you, because you are throwing everything out of fucking whack.
Yep.
You are completely disorientating him, because you are pulling him off of one leg. Either he's going to the ground or he's falling into your fucking fist.
I agree. I think that was the one thing that Impa did wrong in that situation. He held the kick instead of pushing or pulling or throwing a punch or something. He literally just caught it and held it there. And we saw the result of that lap.
Those are your whenever you I have done it a handful of times. You only have two options: pull or fucking throw. And you better throw fucking hard and run in after him. So to answer the question that TJ put up with the weight with weight cutting and going up a weight class, I did go up a weight class from 35 to 45, and then completely jumped ship from 45 on to 55. Completely jumped. I don't push. Well, my training team, my camp, we don't push cardio as hard as what I used to running at 35. Nowhere near as hard. We took it down about 25% of what I ran cardio wise to keep my gas tank there, to keep my stamina up. We dropped cardio. Other than that, everything got amped up. Every other way, powerlifting, fucking power training, precision, accuracy on kicks, takedowns, everything else just got ramped through the fucking roof.
And unlike RJ, Andrade has muscles.
Yeah. I got muscles, damn it. I got muscle, damn it.
I kid. He's got muscles.
So I was actually looking at this fight, and I was also going the meter route of this with Andrade. looking at everything with how both of them fight, with the reach distance, with leg distance, and overall wingspan, Chukagian definitely has the upside there. She is very good at keeping distance, as everybody said. But with being small, Andrade is extremely fucking fast. She is very fucking quick on her feet. So if Chukagian goes in for a kick and Andrade reads it like a book, she's going to step back and run in, get a couple punches, and slowly pick it apart. Use the brain, slowly pick Chukagian apart. Now, the other side of this, I think, for me, the way I look at it, Andrade is much more well-rounded all the way around the board than what somebody like Chukagian is. Chukagian really on the feet, her boxing, her stand-up really is lackluster at best. She is okay on the ground, but Andrade overall, she is very, very, very well-rounded in every aspect that you put her into. I think for being more well-rounded, I think that is what is going to give Andrade just a little tip going her way. Chukagian is number one for a reason. I don't know what fucking reason that is, because I wanted to pull up her stats for TJ. She has 79% decision victories, but you're number one. Okay, I understand what you mean by that weight class is up in the fucking air. But on this, I definitely see it. I definitely see it leaning more towards the Andrade route.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be quick. I think Andrade is gonna get in there. I think fucking Chukagian's gonna make her work for it. She's gonna get caught with a kick or two in the process, but I just have a feeling that Andrade is quick enough, and she's used to being the smaller fighter. Even at 115, she was generally the smaller fighter. So fighting a taller bitch ain't a new fucking dance for her. It ain't the first fucking time. It's not going to be the last time she fights a taller girl. I think Andrade is going to get in there and surprise some folks this weekend, but we'll see. That being said, that will bring us into our 38-ounce tomahawk cooked to fucking perfection. One of the few matchups in the MMA world that the fans have legitimately been drooling and fucking clamoring for I think almost 3 years now. And we finally fucking have it. We have had Backstreet Boys interrupt this. We have had injuries interrupt this. We have had bitch slaps cage side interrupt this. But we are finally fucking here, ladies and gentlemen. Brian T. City Ortega finally returning after that Max Holloway fight from so fucking long ago, coming back and stepping directly into arguably his legitimate arch nemesis in the UFC. One of the only people we have ever seen him have legitimate hatred and bad blood for since we've seen Brian Ortega. The Korean zombie, Chan Sung Jung. Stylistically, this is about as exciting of a fucking matchup at 145 as you could ask for. But even more than just the fact of these two styles making this fight extremely fucking exciting, we have already had confirmation from Dana White. The winner of this fight will fight Alexander Volkanovski in the beginning of 2021 for the featherweight belt. This fight determines the next person who fights for the strap. That makes it even fucking more exciting because legitimately, either fucking way this goes, either T-City wins this and we get to see him get back in the winning column and back going for the title that many thought he was going to take from Max, or we see the Korean zombie put a cherry on top of the sundae that he has been building since he got back from his mandatory military service and earning his way with ass whippings to his rightful claim at a shot at the featherweight belt. And either way it shakes loose, it's going to be fucking spectacular for the 3D chess that it's setting up going forward. But before we get there, we have to look at this fight. And this fucking fight is so goddamn exciting. I cannot fucking stress to you people how fucking stoked I am for this matchup, legitimately. On one hand, we have Brian Ortega, one of the literal quickest meteoric rises we have ever fucking seen in the UFC. And I don't mean just a guy that made his way to the top. I mean a guy that destroyed every single person they put in front of him like it was nothing. Like every time he stepped in that octagon, it looked more like a sparring session than a legitimate sanctioned bout. He was that goddamn smooth until he met the blessed one in the octagon. Max Holloway is a fighter unlike any other fighter in any other division, anywhere in any organization in the world. Max Holloway is a breed unto himself. And as great as Brian Ortega looked in his legitimate meteoric rise to the top, Max Holloway was the dirt mound at the end of the train tracks because he stopped that train dead fucking cold. He not only beat Brian Ortega, he beat Brian Ortega so definitively that a doctor would not let him continue. And he immediately, once he left that octagon, required multiple surgeries to put him back together. This is not an exaggeration. This is not a hype card. This is what happened when he fought Max Holloway. He got so fucked up, he needed immediate surgery and multiple surgeries at that. We have not seen him since then. He literally fell off the face of the earth for over 2 years. He says that he lost his love for MMA. He lost his love for combat sports. But seeing everything going on with the zombie has reignited it. It has brought him back to his love of fighting. It got him back to his love of what got him doing this in the beginning. And this match in particular, he says, has got him back to where he should have been going into the Max fight. The problem with that is that the person he's stepping in against now may arguably be more dangerous than Max Holloway is or was. The Korean Zombie is a name that not a lot of people knew until he started to take on some bigger names. Those of us that are hardcore lost our fucking minds when we saw the Korean Zombie make his debut with a fucking twister when Eddie Bravo was still perfecting it. Eddie Bravo was doing this in his gym and perfecting it, and Chen Sung Jung did one in the fucking octagon and made it look effortless. So fucking crisp, so technical, so easily put into place, so smooth. And then every fucking time we have seen him come out there, that man earns his fucking name, because you can throw everything and the kitchen sink at the zombie and he's going to keep marching at you. You literally have to shut this man off to stop him, and good fucking luck. This man has great stand-up. This man has great kicks. This man has great grappling. This man has great ground game. There is nowhere you can slide one in against the zombie, because he is one of the most legitimately well-rounded fighters, not in the 145 division, but in the UFC, in my opinion. This man has shown that he has got world-class deadliness everywhere the fight can go. And that's going to be a problem even for the best Brian Ortega. And that may not be what we're getting, because we haven't seen Brian Ortega in an octagon in over 2 years. We haven't seen him in any capacity, not a tune-up fight, not a sparring session, not him jogging on the fucking beach. He went radio silent. So we don't know. What I will say, if we see the same Brian Ortega that earned that meteoric rise to get himself to Max Holloway, this is going to be a great fucking fight. But if we see a Brian Ortega that has spent the last 2.5 years ignoring the world because he wanted to Ronda Rousey his first loss. This is going to be a short night and a great masterclass for the Korean Zombie. And I legitimately hope it does not go that way, but that is a realistic possibility because as much as I like Brian Ortega, and I like Brian Ortega, like we said about Jimmy Crute, if that first L doesn't light the fire underneath your ass, it's the beginning of your downfall. And if the beginning of your downfall comes in the main event against a man like the Korean Zombie, not only is he going for the belt, you're going to the bottom of the line real quick. And I think that's what we're going to see happen. I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna. I think Brian Ortega doesn't have what he had when he got up there. And I think the Korean Zombie is going to use him as a stepping stone to get himself into that belt. He's going to earn it. But I think Chen Sung Jung ends Brian Ortega Saturday night.
This is so goddamn multifaceted for this. This is fucking ridiculous. Look, I'm going to start here. Yes, we have not seen Brian Ortega in 2 years. If anybody's been watching recently, Brian Ortega had an interview where it came to fruition what caused his, air quotes here for those of you that just listen on the podcast, his loss for the love of the sport. It was actually a bad training environment. He since switched camps, which glad he's radio silent on, because you know what? That leaves a lot up in the air for people to think about of what he's coming into. Look, he was already a fantastic fighter without that fucking camp alone. Look at the list of people he ran through on his way up to Max Holloway. The fucking list is phenomenal. I mean, you've had the Cub Swansons. He knocked out Frankie Edgar. Nobody has knocked out fucking Frankie Edgar.
The first man
and
ever to do it.
Still the only one to have done it. Even when Frankie Edgar fought fucking Chan Sung Jung, didn't get knocked out. Just saying. It's out there. But I think that fire reigniting was after he realized he was in a bad situation in his other camp. I don't think he lost a step. He was still training fucking Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. He was still working with Henner and Hedon over there. That hasn't stopped. That's a lifelong thing with him. He's been boxing forever. We know that. Look, what I really think happened in that fight, I think he just fucking had a really bad off night, or Max Holloway was just that really fucking good at the time, and then he lost a step sleeping in fucking silk sheets, and that's why he got beat up by Volkanovski. However, I'm not taking anything away from Volkanovski because that dude's a fucking animal, but still. I really think I want to say he had an off night, like, because he didn't look like his normal self during that fight. And after going back and seeing the interview that he did there, I really think it had a lot to do with the fucking training camp he was in with his camp. And I think that may have been what said, you know what, I took a bad beating because I have a shit camp. And none of his cornermen would throw in the fucking towel. Just saying that was one of those fights where, if you guys go back a couple of years ago when we talked about it, it was one where we said they should have thrown in the towel long before the fucking doctor stepped in.
Absolutely.
But
I still stand by that to this day. Just for point of contention, I still stand by that. Even watching that fight back 2.5, almost 3 years later now, I still watch that fight. And before they even get to the end of round 4, I'm like, dude, where's the towel? Where's the goddamn towel? If you care about that man, look what's happening. Give him the fucking towel and let him get out of there in one piece.
And there is another little piece of news that goes into this fight specifically. Henner Gracie, usually always in his fucking corner, had a positive Rona test.
That's right. I forgot to talk about that earlier.
So he's not going to be in the corner this week. Can't go. UFC nixed it, which is fine. If anybody had watched the social media accounts on Henner actually sent a message directly to Brian. He's like, you don't need me. He's like,
he said if any coach had to stay.
He's like, I've said everything I can possibly ever say to you. I don't need it. You know what I'm going to tell you when it comes to jiu-jitsu. You do that already. So you don't need me there. Probably one of the greatest positive fucking messages from a coach that can't go that you'll ever see. Now, I'll switch gears over here because God, Chance fucking talked about the Korean Zombie. I love Chance Jung. That dude, look, he was out of this sport for 2.5, 3 years.
Almost 3 years, yeah.
While fucking doing his mandatory service. Because those of you who are not familiar, South Korea, if you are a male, it is mandatory that you do government service, whether it's military or postal carrier or whatever. But most of them do the military route. And I'm familiar with this because the U.S. has multiple bases in South Korea, and they train alongside of South Korean Army. And so that dude, obviously still a countryman. Gotta love that about him. And he was on an absolute fucking tear and takes his time off, comes back, and is putting on a fucking show of his life against Yair Rodriguez. Rodriguez pulls out the dumbest, luckiest shit any MMA fan will ever fucking see with the craziest fucking elbow. I have to give him credit for even thinking to try it. Credit where credit's due there, but he was getting his ass whipped that entire fight and put it right on the fucking money. So that's the only way you put the fucking zombie out is with some fucking pure craziness, spinning backwards, up elbow shit. But he's been on a tear since that. So look, if we're going to go tick for tat here on losses and wins, they're at about the same right now with their last fucking, let's say, 10 fights. They're about the same. Yeah, Brian Ortega's is more recently, and I don't think that Chen Jung is he's not gonna fucking have an easy night here. And Brian Ortega is definitely not gonna have an easy night. Both of these guys, this could, like, in my personal opinion, the way these two fight, we have the makings of possibly fight of the year right here. Like, I really think that because between both of their stand-ups and both of their jiu-jitsus, fucking Christ, wherever this fight goes, whether it's on the ground or on the feet, it's going to be one of the most interesting fucking fights you're going to see all fucking year. In fact, I'll go this far. Because of their two styles are very fucking similar.
Real close, yeah.
You have possibly the makings of one of the greatest fights of all time coming here. Now, do I think it's going to be to the level of Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner, Ultimate Fighter fucking season 1? Maybe, but not quite that close. Because, I mean, that was still in the UFC's kind of, I will say, toddler days.
Yeah, that's a benchmark kind of fight, too.
Yeah, that's a benchmark fight. So, I mean, I'm sure that for what we've seen in recent history, I'm pretty sure they can eclipse it. There's been a couple fights out there lately that have been fucking massively amazing. Like, I mean, God, as much as I hate to say it, the Wiley Zhang and Yoni and Jacek fight, that was a fucking banger for the ages.
Fuck yes, it was.
I mean, big forehead and all, fucking still a great fight, but I have a feeling this is going to rank up there with them. The hard part for me is to call this because I can't say that Brian Ortega has lost a step being away 2 years. I really can't. Look, we know what he can do. We've seen it. He had a bad night. Found out he was having a shitty fucking camp that was, for lack of better terms, not a good conducive environment to continue to excel in. And once he realized that and moved, he's in a lot better headspace. And when he's in a good headspace, that's a dangerous fucking man. The Korean Zombie, always fucking dangerous. Doesn't matter what headspace he's in. And what's really funny here is the whole fucking, the beef between them. Because it all started with a fucking slap in an audience. And it's not like he slapped the fucking Korean Zombie. He slapped Jay Park.
It goes back further than that too.
But still, that was really the straw that broke the fucking camel's back.
Yeah, that was the culmination, absolutely.
And look, Jay Park said some shit he shouldn't have fucking said. And Brian Ortega, I will say it right here. Whether people believe it or not, as nice of a guy as he is that you see, he's from the fucking street. He will fuck
always that dude.
He's in a Stoda game bread style. He don't give a fuck. That's why Jake Park got slapped in the fucking audience that night. Was, dude, you can't say something to somebody who grew up fucking gangster.
And he didn't run. He didn't run either. He slapped him and stood there until the UFC security guard hauled him off while he was saying, I told you I was going to slap you like a bitch. How's your cheek feel?
Yep. Look, just saying. That falls under that same thing as I always like to say. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yes, sir.
If fucking the Korean Zombie is mad about that, I'm going to say too bad, so sad. But I can lay 10-1 odds after this fight's over. I bet you these two shake it out, fucking hug it out. And it's all.
I hope so.
Done.
I hope so.
I'll lay 10-1 odds because you know what? There's something that I've learned watching a lot of this stuff. A lot of your fighters, they don't hold grudges because you know what? You're going in there to beat the fucking brakes off to somebody. You're literally going to try to kill someone. The only reason you stop is because a referee stops you. If the referee didn't stop fights like they're supposed to, people would die in this sport. That's the point of the ref. Your job is to go out and literally try to maim the other fighter. As much as I hate to hit, that's what this is. It's part of the reason why I love it. There's that primal thing between them. But I have a feeling whatever their little beef tiff is, which whatever you want to chalk it up to, I say because I know it's the straw that broke this camel back, this is fucking Jay Park's fault. Fuck that dude. Keep your fucking mouth shut. You're not a fighter. You're going to talk to a fighter like you're a fighter. Expect to get your fucking head slapped. Be glad he didn't fucking box you because you wouldn't be fucking talking.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
I'm just saying, I bet they squash it, but to get back to the fight itself, to make a fucking call on this, I'm really having a fucking hard time with because I really, as much as I want to think that his head's not in the right place, and I say I want to think that because I don't think that, I don't think Brian Ortega's head's in the wrong space. I think he got out of the bad situation. Now his head's in a really good space, so that makes him very dangerous. Fucking Korean Zombie's always dangerous. Like, this fight for me is a fucking coin flip. Am I going to see a fucking great guillotine out of Brian Ortega or knockout? Or are we going to see a twister or some fucking crazy knockout from the Korean Zombie? Dude, it's literally limitless fucking possibilities with this fight. I'm hard-pressed to fucking call it, but as much as I hate to say this, I love Brian Ortega. I really do. But Chan Sung Jung, he's fucking due. And I'm only saying this because he's due. If I have to pick, I think Chan Sung Jung is due for a fucking title shot. He's long overdue. I'll say that. So I will pick him, but not because it's an easy pick, but because I think he's due. I'm still saying I would pick Brian Ortega to win this fight too. But because of who's due, if I have to pick somebody, it's going to be Chan Sung Jung. But I can't write Brian Ortega off. I don't care what circumstances are in play here. You can't write that dude off after the trail of fucking devastation he left leading up to the Max Holloway fight. You really cannot. It doesn't look. He's lost street fights before. Garen fucking Teed, growing up, he got his ass whipped. It happens. You get back up, you dust yourself off, you get back in. Same thing that's going on here. This fight probably would have happened 8 months ago had it not been for Rona and injuries and other shit. It might have even happened a fucking year ago because that's how long this has been in the works. So I don't think the 2 years has been a problem. I think that's just given him more ample time to train, and Chan Sung Jung as well. So I have this feeling we're going to see a fucking banger of fight, one for the ages. If I'm forced to pick, I'll say Chan Sung Jung just because he's due a title shot, I think, in my opinion. But I would love to see Brian Ortega win too. So fuck it, I'm coin flipping it. I'll coin flip it right now. That's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it a fucking coin flip. Good luck.
So, my one question, I can never fucking remember which Gracie is T-City fighting with?
Henner.
Henner?
He trains with
Got
Henner.
it.
Henner and Hedon.
I'm saying Henner and Hedon.
Brothers.
Got it. So, I have spent a little bit of time in South Korea with fighting with some of the beautiful South Korean fucking military force out there. I've trained Gracie for the last like 13 years of my life. I've trained with Gracie on the professional level. I could never keep a fucking South Korean motherfucker on a mat. I like their jujitsu. I don't know what the fuck they do. You can't keep those motherfuckers down. Saying that, we obviously know you can't keep fucking the Korean Zombie down because otherwise you wouldn't have the fucking name Korean Zombie. I'm gonna keep it a little bit short and sweet because everything really has been fucking said for this. I absolutely love the fact that Ortega has made it public about the shitty circumstances with his last team. I fucking love that. I think that's great that he's made that public and that he is taking steps to get into a better team and everything. I absolutely love that. That sometimes can be a huge change with how you fight. That's absolutely fucking amazing. I am on side with Meter on this. I think the Korean Zombie is a little bit too well-rounded and too what the fuckish for Brian Ortega. That's not saying that Brian Ortega is bad, like not a good fighter, because Brian Ortega is fucking ridiculous. I don't think that Brian Ortega is going to take a step back and fall down the ladder either. I think that he's going to get himself put back in place and keep fucking moving. Because he is one fucking amazing fighter, and he is one extremely gifted and talented fighter at that. T City is gonna fucking he's gonna make some amazing fucking shots this weekend. He's gonna do some amazing work like he always does, and I'm gonna say it's gonna come down to a decision. I think it's gonna go more on the side of the Korean Zombie if it comes down to a decision, because their styles are just they're too similar. They have the same exact style, but Korean Zombie is gonna have his handful, and so is T City.
I agree. And like I said, it's not that I have anything against Brian Ortega whatsoever. I fucking love T City and I've been fucking cheering him on the whole way up. But man, this is a fucking match unlike any other match. I agree 100% with TJ. This legitimately has fight of the fucking year, to say the least, potential written all the fuck over it. But that's the wonderful thing about this fucking game that is MMA. That's the reason that those of us that love it this much, is it because as exciting as this is, there's no fucking way to know how this is going to shake loose. And the only way to find out how it actually does shake loose is to tune in Saturday night and watch this shit roll out, because it's going to be fun one way or another. That being said, that's all we've got for this particular episode for this evening. So before we get out of here, I do want to take just a moment and thank these fine folks here for coming along on the journey with me, helping bring you fine folks some shit talk and shenanigan to fill your evenings. So first and foremost, if at this point someone can find out maybe a glimpse into, because I wouldn't ask you to reveal a whole thing, but maybe a glimpse into your training regimen to get yourself back towards that coveted purple strap, how would somebody go about getting a hold of you after the show, RJ?
You can find me over on Instagram at RJ MMA Official. I'm a real man. I'm classy. I like actual watches, then I like smart watches. So that purple strap is fine where it's at. I got the black and gold. So I'm good where I'm at. But if you'd like to know my training regimen, like on a legitimate thing, I would like to know, because I would like to start putting some of that stuff out there on my Instagram. That would actually be pretty fucking fun. But yeah, it's great being here tonight. Thank you for having me, like always.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time, sir. Always appreciate it.
Before you get to me here, I just want to say, usually guys who divert and talk about other shit they already have tells me they're a little nervous about what there is in front of them.
Look, 125-pound man does not scare me, sir.
Look,
You can discount, double check all day.
I'm just. He's not here, so I'm just gonna silently.
I'll put it this way: there was a wiser man than I that once said "scared" and "stupid" are two different things. Make sure you know which one you are.
I ain't scared, but I damn sure I am stupid. So
That
I
being
know
said,
that. I know I'm stupid. I literally get paid to get punched in the fucking face. What are you
Hey.
talking about? Scared or stupid?
We said it. We didn't. That being said, though, if at this point somebody would like to find out, maybe the best place to get some fried cheese curds and catch themselves a Packers game, how might they be able to get a hold of you after the show, TJ?
Wednesday nights, Galty Vapes right here on the YouTubes, 9:30 Central Time. You can also find me on the Instagrams. Shoot me a message there. RJ, nothing but love for you, even though I fuck with you. Fucking nothing but love, man.
I know, man.
Hit me up. I'll fucking shoot you guys in the right direction. Get your heart stopped with some cheese curds, and then get it going with some Aaron Rodgers touchdowns.
There you go. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Always appreciated. That being said, we are going to call that all for this particular episode of the show. I do want to thank everybody who tuned in, whether you're here with us live or you're catching this on a replay or you're listening to it next week when it comes out on the all audio version. I appreciate you guys all the same. If you enjoy what we do around here, give us a thumbs up. If you love the information we present, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode. If we are your lifeline for all things punchy kicky, which I hope that we are, share an episode of the show. We're trying to grow this damn thing. On the other side of that coin, we're just a couple of dipshits sitting around in front of webcams, not knowing what the fuck we actually are talking about. Go ahead and give us a thumbs down because we earned it and we won't dispute it. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get the fuck out of here for this evening. So thank you again for tuning in. And remember, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. Wink.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times that made us laugh.